What's going on, guys, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Arsenal Career Mode. This is episode number 12, and in today's video then, as you can see, first of all, the first game taking on AFC Bournemouth here. Like I said at the end of the last episode, taking them on here in the FA Cup in the third round. But before we get into this one, I will just like to give you a reminder, as it was some time ago where I did upload, and I'm sorry for that, but I have been upgrading the setup. As you can see, I've been adding some lighting to my setup, I've been adding a camera to my setup. So yeah, it's been a while, but we're back now and we're having an amazing time. So in the last episode then, you would have seen Mohamed El Neni was the first player to depart the club for Newcastle. And then what did we go and do? Well, a midfielder from Arsenal joins the Newcastle midfield. A Newcastle midfielder joined the Arsenal midfield. Yet Joe Willock, we brought him back to the Emirates, and as you can see in this game, he did have a start in this one actually. As you would see, Bournemouth going ahead and grabbing the first goal, and then you would see that Joe Willock, well, what better way to have your debut than scoring a goal to get Arsenal back into the game. Yet Arsenal back at 1-1 then. And I've got to say, we were really slow starting in this game. Didn't really feel like we were on the front foot at all until we got that wake-up call from Bournemouth. Bournemouth started fast. We were at 1-1, and then you would see Bukayo Saka, the star boy, going ahead and grabbing the second goal to put us at 2-1. And then you would see that Joe Willock, just before the break, puts us at 3-1. And at half-time, it's Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 1 at the Vitality Stadium. And I've got to say, one thing that Bournemouth really lack is their stadium size. Now, we all know Bournemouth are in the Premier League in real life. We all know that they're doing quite well as of recently. They're on an unbeaten run. I think they got beaten at the weekend, actually. As of the time you're watching this, the weekend just gone, I think they got beat. But at the same time, they're doing pretty well in real life. So let's not take anything away from Bournemouth. They're doing really well, and they're giving us some tough games this season. You would see though, we would go ahead and make it 4-1, and that would seal qualification to the next round of the FA Cup, round 4. And post-match interview here, not really being asked too many questions. And I've got to say, like I've said before, post-match interviews, press conferences in FIFA, they're just the same old questions all the time. And if EA really want to upgrade their game, and again, we all know this year is the last FIFA, so we've got to make the most of it as we can. But you can see, if EA really want to upgrade their game, they've got to make the game more immersive, both for PS5 and PS4. And they've got to make the interview process more realistic as well. I didn't really get asked a single question about a player's performance in that one, and the whole team played well. Now, again, they've been struggling with that feature for years. They've never changed it. They've sort of added it and just left it there. So, again, we can't ask too much of EA, because if we do, well, it doesn't end very well. So, as you would see then, in the next round of the FA Cup, we do take on the lower league side, Blackburn Rovers. Gonna be quite an interesting tie, that. Now, we all know on paper we are the favourites for that game, but we all know what can happen in the FA Cup. FA Cup upsets, we all know what can happen, and it can all go downhill if we concede a goal in that one. So, going into our next game then, we were taking on Brentford at home at the Emirates Stadium. Back at home for this one, back in the league. As you all know, at the minute, we are in a title race. Now, I've said it loads before in the last episodes. Is it unrealistic? Well, no, because in real life, Mikel Arteta, Super Mikel Arteta, by the way, I've got to add that in, Super Mikel Arteta, he is in a title race. He's top of the league at the minute. He's 2 points clear of Man City and 5 points clear of Tottenham, I believe. So he's doing a very good job, actually. So we've got to look at the positives of this season. We're keeping it realistic. We've not really signed any unrealistic players at the minute. So, and when you're looking at it, you just got to think, am I doing a better job than Mikel Arteta? Well, currently it's us and Chelsea competing for the Premier League title. We are sort of running away with it, but that's because, again, I'm still trying to find what difficulty is best for me. Now, you all know at the minute I'm playing on Legendary. I've been playing on Legendary since the start of the save, but I don't know if you guys have been seeing it's getting a little bit too easy. So we've got to think about what difficulty we're going to finish this season on. Are we going to switch it to Ultimate, or are we going to keep it at Legendary just to keep it for the first season, and then in the second season switch up and see how we do on Ultimate? But again, not a clue. But you would see this game here against Brentford, it's another example of how easy Legendary is when you get good enough on that level. Yeah, full time, 5-0, and well, an easy job really. You would see Jesus grabbed another double, and to be fair, Gabriel Jesus, he is the leading top goal scorer for the Premier League at the minute. Yeah, he's doing pretty well. He's coming up to about 20 goals so far this season, so he's doing really well. But again, we all knew in this team when we started this career mode, it wasn't about scoring goals. No, it was about the defence. Our defence, the Arsenal defence over the years hasn't been that great. We know we can score goals, we know we can win games, it's just about keeping those clean sheets. So, talking about defence then, we signed Joe Willock in the last episode for £12.5 million. And if you remember, I turned the opening transfer window off, the summer transfer window, because of course in real life we've just had a transfer window and I didn't want to add on top of the new Arsenal signings that they made in real life. So we're in January, we signed Joe Willock for £12.5 million, and talking of defenders, it was time to grab a new solid backup to either Saliba, Ben White or Gabriel, and I went for one of the youngest top talented players that comes from the Bundesliga in that centre-back role, and his name is Gvardiol. Yeah, Gvardiol, he is 81 overall. He is currently 22 years of age, so he's quite young. He's got lots of room for improvement, and I'm sure he can do a very good job in that defence. So we agreed an important squad role, a 5-year contract length, and then of course £39,500 a week. What would he say? Yes, I am in. Yeah, Gvardiol, he is in to Arsenal Football Club, and you can see here turning up to the Arsenal HQ, being showed around by his trainer, and I think you should see me here. Yeah, me on my phone as always, nothing changes there. But again, I've said it in the last episodes, I wanted a defender that can really sharpen the defence up, and I believe this is the signing that can do that. Now with this signing, I've made it very realistic because he's young, he's versatile, he's going to be quick, and that's exactly what Mikel Arteta and Edu are building at Arsenal at the minute. They're looking for young, exciting, agile, versatile players that can slot into that first team. And Gvardiol, well, we're going to see how he gets on, but again, we need to slowly ease him in because this isn't the Bundesliga, and we all know Bundesliga, La Liga, Serie A, Ligue 1, the top 4 that are part of the top 5 leagues in the world. We all know they're not up to scratch with the Premier League. The pace of the Premier League, it hits players different. Of course, if you're signing players from the Bundesliga, the La Liga, they're going to have to adjust to the pace of the Premier League, and that's exactly what we're going to have to do with Gvardiol. So it was time for the penultimate game of today's episode. It was time for Aston Villa away at Villa Park. Now, if you saw in the menus, the probable lineup screen, you would see that sometimes it shows you the difficulty. And there you have it. I've switched it up to Ultimate. Now, I've switched up to Ultimate because, again, I want more of a challenge, and it should bring more realistic results, and also should bring some, again, just overall realism to the saves. So, are we likely to win the Premier League in real life? Probably not. Are we able to win it in Season 1 in the career mode? Well, we'll have to see. But you would see that we did take a 2-0 lead going into the second half. And then Aaron Ramsdale was pulling off some phenomenal saves. You would see that one there from the corner. And overall, great performance by Aaron Ramsdale. He was saving shots from outside the box, in the box. And then, of course, that one from the corner, the overhead kick. And then you would see here that Emil Smith-Rowe would go and try and bag off third. He put it into the back of the net, but however, the linesman had his offside flag up. And I've got to say, Emil Smith-Rowe, he really needs to get a goal or two to boost his confidence back up. Because I almost feel like he's lost a bit of it. I really do. But again, only time will tell. Emil Smith-Rowe, he doesn't burst into that first 11. Not when Saka, Jesus, Martinelli are all fit. So again, it's just about trying to fit him in somewhere across the line. But guys, if you did enjoy today's episode, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Much support is appreciated. I'm glad you guys are enjoying the career mode so far, but we do have our game against Blackburn coming up next. But guys, stay safe, have a great day, and I'll see you guys very soon.